There I was, standing on stage in front of a massive audience at Worlds. I was nervous and I wanted to do better than last time. Last time. My name's Salvatore, and I want to share something interesting with you that I kind of look back and I'm actually quite grateful for. It's quite an embarrassing point for me, but I feel if I share this, it'll kind of help inspire you and give you a key takeaway to go forward, to give you extra confidence and an ability to not fear public speaking. What do I mean by that exactly? Okay, so to kind of explain this, I have to tell a bit of a story about like my childhood, right? So when I was younger, about the ages of I think 11 to 12 or thereabouts, I started playing with a yo-yo and trying to do tricks like walk the dog, sleeper, around the world, rock the baby, all those types of tricks, right? And I eventually came across a bunch of people, peers that were a bit older than me, were really had some interesting tricks that I'd never seen before, right? So amazed by this, I was more fascinated in kind of the world of what competitive yo-yoing was and just taking that to another level. So that made me want to kind of take that up and start competing. I remember fondly the time for my first competition, right? It was in a local mall and I hadn't really practiced that much. I, at the time, was, playing a lot of video games and said, I think I'm pretty great. I'm not going to make a mistake. I'm not going to mess up. I'm great. I'm fantastic. Nothing will go wrong. All that stuff that just like stupidity now looking back and you know, I'm like, how on earth could you think that could work? So anyways, I step on stage and kind of talked about this in another video, like you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of preparedness. Well, that's more or less what happened, right? I picked a song that was way too intense and way too fast for my trick set, so that stressed me out. I hadn't really practiced that much, so my tricks weren't that impressive, and my accuracy in landing them was really, really bad. And see, the thing is, depending on how much you've practiced, I feel that you can land between 30% or even 20%, 20% to maybe 80, 90% of your routine, which is a massive fluctuation from here to here in terms of what you can land, right? But that's the thing. So what I came to realize from this event is, well, of course I bombed. I didn't do that great and I was really embarrassed. I think there's still the video of me doing this routine. So maybe I'll put in the description if you kind of want to have a bit of a chuckle, like go ahead, like so embarrassed by this. But that kind of served as a bit of a fire for kind of me starting practicing more, but I'll kind of cover in another story. But for the purposes of this, oh wait, hang on. Sorry, hang on. World stage. Oh yeah, fast forward. So I practiced a lot more, and what this kind of resulted in was to me going more competitions. But I noticed kind of the similar thing kept happening to me. Obviously, I got nervous as everyone does, but it was really annoying because the thing about yo-yoing is, or competitive yo-yoing, you don't actually have that much control. It sounds a bit stupid, but bear with me. So you've got your finger, the string, the yo-yo. Obviously, the strings connect to your finger and the yo-yo. But even though that's the case, you don't really have that much control. It's like as soon as it leaves your hand, there's elements such as the string tension, wind, nerves, sweat on your fingers. Like there's ways to kind of reduce that, I understand. But kind of for me, the way I felt about it was I couldn't really execute as much as difficult tricks when I was practicing by myself compared to when I was practicing by myself. It's almost like when I got on stage, I just felt small, right? And that my tricks didn't matter or weren't important, and I wasn't landing them because, like I said, I just feel I didn't have that control. And it led me to feel quite frustrated as I continued to compete and tried to do better and better, which I somewhat did, but I was kind of never able to kind of hit that point where I was, oh yeah, I smashed all of that, 100%, woo, go me. But that's kind of when I realized when I got older that in school, at even work, there would often be opportunities to speak publicly. And for some reason, I didn't really care. Like, I didn't really get nervous. And I guess the reason I'm sharing this long story or trying to explain this to you is that I'd kind of already conquered a seemingly insurmountable mountain, which was that I had to practice something like for so many hours. God, it was so many hours. And then do the routine while being nervous, messing it up, and then feeling like I just wasted all that time because I felt I had no control of the yo-yo. So if I was to speak in front of people, which obviously does require preparation and practice, I can understand that. And I'll share some techniques of what I do to practice and get better. But the thing is, when you speak, you've actually got quite a lot of control. And I felt quite powerful because I was able to, if I made a mistake, I could explain, I could crack a joke, like I could kind of, roll with the punches. Yo-yoing's kind of a bit harder than that. So if you're yo-yoing the string, you've got tricks lead to other tricks. It's kind of like you have to start over and chop and change, and it's really obvious and it's a really jagged routine. But for me, speaking was something like I just felt that I had that control, right? And that's kind of why when people were like, yo, you want to speak in front of a group? I was like, yeah, no problem. Like, yes, I was nervous, but that nervous energy like made me feel excited, and like I might have spoken a little bit quicker, but I still remembered everything I wanted to say, and I felt I could express my point with conviction, right? Which is the whole point. And so I guess tips to speak better in front of others or publicly would be to, going into that, record yourself with your phone, listen back, record yourself on your like webcam monitor and like watch that back, practice in front of a mirror. So actually like with the cue card, speak as if you're speaking like at a TED talk or something. And then of course, actually, if you do find this difficult, go to a place where it's meant to be most inspiring, comforting, and encouraging. What I mean is that I believe there's an organization called Toastmasters in which they offer, I think, to most like beginner or public speaking events and sessions where you can go and they'll provide you feedback, and it's really inclusive and inviting. That can kind of help you build up your confidence, kind of like being in the tutorial level of a video game where you've got that extra safety net, and even though it's a bit difficult, like you'll start to get used to the mechanics and you'll feel safer, as opposed to if you had to present in front of your peers or at work, which can be somewhat daunting depending on how much experience you've had speaking publicly. Now, of course, other things to do would be to, of course, go out in public and sing if you can sing. I can't sing, so that'd be a terrible idea. But even if you did and you're in public, like if you think you're not that great or you're nervous, no one's really gonna pay that much attention because everyone's going shopping or going to the groceries or whatever. So they're kind of not too focused on you. They're focused more on themselves, so don't worry. And I'm sure you sound much better than me. I'm a terrible singer. And I guess other things to do would be to seek out an opportunity to guide and mentor those and explain a concept to someone. Like, for example, say you're at work, but you've been at work for a couple of years and there's some people more junior than you. Ask your manager or someone if you can present something that you understand or are confident with to this junior batch of people. Obviously, they're less intimidating because they're brand new, they're more junior. So that can kind of give you the confidence to test speaking. And then obviously, if you're really good at that presentation, you can speak to more senior people in the team to educate them or the firm. Because I remember for me, it was an opportunity where I could speak to the whole firm, and it was really fun. Like everyone, because I guess it was a really good culture and I made friends with a lot of people, everyone was excited to hear what I had to say, and everyone was really cool. And like, after the presentation, everyone was really nice, encouraging. But of course, I just didn't have that fear. I was just wanting to help people and just because I had the yo-yo thing in my mind, I'm like, there's no way it can be as bad as the yo-yo performance, my first ever one. It can't suck that hard. Like, and even if I make a mistake, I'll probably make people joke because I might say, or my voice might change in pitch or something ridiculous. Like, it's okay, right? It's okay. So I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to get at, of course. To get better at public speaking, many ways to practice it, but try to find an opportunity where you can feel comfortable in getting over that, conquer the mountains, right? Toastmasters, present to a smaller group of people, like a presentation, or if you really want to be like me, you can you can get a yo-yo, start practicing, and go to a competition near you, right? And then kind of find it really difficult, and then you realize, oh, this is embarrassing, and like you can do that as well. So that's pretty much it, like a bit of a random one, and I think this is helpful. And again, it's kind of mirroring off the, you fall to your level of preparedness, but also it's kind of like taking the other side to be like, it's not really like that bad. And if you do something that you're even more embarrassed about, like say if you were to go in public as a guy with like like a ballerina outfit on and start like dancing randomly, like, and people like start laughing, I'm sure that'd be really embarrassing, and you'd be like, oh, I'm never doing that again, or like. So when it comes to doing something else, because you've kind of eaten a frog or conquered a big mountain, you're like, of that embarrassment, you're like, there's no way it can be that bad, so I'll be fine. So it kind of puts things into perspective, right? That's what I'm trying to get at, to help you conquer mountains and conquer life. So of course, if you like this, you can subscribe. There'll be more content. I can cover more stuff like this. I can talk more about yo-yo. I can do other aspects about how I prepared for like an interview for a job that was really useful. I can break down more stuff. I'm not too fussed. But I kind of want to share with you learnings from what I've reflected on to help inspire you, to make you feel believe in yourself, and to, again, conquer those mountains, to conquer life. Now, if you've stayed for this long, if you'd like some additional help, offer one-on-one coaching. It's in the link below. You can talk about whatever you want. You can reach out to me, book a time that works for you, send some questions, I'll work with you. I'll answer those questions before the session, and then we can have a really good proactive session, right? Session way too many times, sorry. And then another book content, something I have if you'd like to help me out, is a book called Life Cycles, where I crystallized 6 years worth of commuting, riding the bike, training, riding to get groceries, riding to work, into a very easy to understand, answer all your questions, save you lots of money, save you lots of time, to start getting into commuting, literally conquering the mountains, and also saving lots of money getting to work and university. So yeah, that's that if you want to help me out. If not, subscribe, and there'll be lots more valuable, hopefully there'll be lots more content that I'll do that will give you inspiration and help you conquer mountains, conquer life.